I am reading from Mark chapter 10, verse 23, so I could share some wonderful things with you. And Jesus looked around and said to his disciples, "How difficult it will be for those who have wealth to enter the kingdom of God." Doesn't mean that those that love the Lord should not be wealthy. It's just in order to start following the Lord, maybe you're so comfortable you don't even know that you need Jesus. Okay, this is verse 24. And the disciples were amazed at his words, but Jesus said to them again, "Children, how difficult it is to enter the kingdom of God." So he says it 2 times. That means that he is observing this is going to be a situation that will continue to be in, and it's something that he's watched greed deceive people and keep people from relying on the Lord. He continues to say, verse 25, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God." I don't sew because I can't even get thread through the eye of a needle. I'll just say that. I lose the needle in my lap. I start poking myself in, blood occurs, and that is not what sewing should be about. So for those that are blessed with being able to sew, I am very thankful for you. And I do believe it's a lost art, and I just have not ever been able to figure it out. So to think that someone who is rich, it's as difficult for them because how they treasure their riches in the earth than to be obedient to the Lord and part with their items, let the stuff go, give it away, because they're looking at their stuff. There's all kinds of reasons that people do it, but something that I identify with is they look at it as if it's their identity. They look at it as if it's their safety, it's their cushion. It's the one thing that they can control. Stuff is not going to talk back to you. Stuff is not going to leave you, which actually stuff leaves me somehow. It gets damaged or whatever, especially living in Florida with flooding and storms and humidity. You just kind of learn stuff doesn't really matter, but it's so hard for those that don't really go through natural disasters and don't really go through constantly moving, like taking on different contracts and moving to different locations, which is actually what I do. I've done that even before I was following the Lord. And I guess I had a grandmother that was so generous. She just always gave. If she saw anybody on the street and they needed something, she would even give stuff away that belonged to her family in order to take care of that person's need and forget to ask permission. And then the family member would be like, "Where's my jacket?" and get super mad about it. But I saw my grandmother loved the Lord in the window of time that I knew her later in her life. And I saw generosity displayed through her. And she was always so generous with me, just giving me jewelry, giving me food. If I loved a painting in her house, she would just give it to me. And it's like she had other issues, but this one thing, she understood that stuff it's going to go away. You might as well just care about the people, not the stuff, right? And that's essentially what Jesus is desiring, is to care for you. And if you're so caring about your stuff, how do you care for Jesus back? It's a relationship. You gotta love him back. So this is verse 26. "And they were exceedingly astonished and said to him, 'Then who can be saved?' Jesus looked at them and said, 'With man it is impossible, but not with God. For all things are possible with God.'" All things, not just this getting saved thing. All things are possible with God. Anything that seems impossible. And the idea of getting into heaven, we can't touch heaven. We have to believe it exists, right? And God's the only one that made it. So we have to have him get us in there. And receiving Jesus is the way. and stuff can't block us. So I'm going to continue sharing what the Lord's shown me about that. But I just pray that if you struggle with this right now, that you understand this teaching is coming from the heart of the Lord, and you got to bring it to him in prayer. And it's only through God that he can deal with you if you realize that maybe there's some things that are holding you back from truly living your life and truly walking in kingdom living. It's not just, oh, I'm going to go to heaven when I die, because like I said, I accept Jesus one day. It's truly saying, I'm living kingdom heavenly right now. Stuff doesn't matter because I walk in kingdom territory now, and I see kingdom now, and the treasures of heaven I see before me now in this life. So the treasures of this world just don't matter. So I just pray that for you, and I'm going to keep sharing that information. I should say revelation that the Lord has given me.